And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big Sean McCarthy.
He's no longer a punk, he's a minion. Look at that, man. Grew life. That is beautifully done. That's probably the best shirt you have ever worn. I like that one. Man. We got the Punk ready to talk about UFC Fight Night Noche.
Dave, say Noche for us.
Go ahead, Dave.
I said Noche UFC.
You did not
look
say
at him.
that.
He's got it now. That was not what he was saying before.
What did he say, John? Tell us. Try to say it in your voice.
Noche. UFC Noche?
Noche. I don't understand what the problem is.
I got a story to go along with that, man. It's crazy. So I was training with Trevor. Prangley was staying at my house. Phil Baroni was staying at my house, and I had to go get therapy on like my calf or something.
You'd have to go get therapy on your head.
Yeah, that too probably, but it was mainly my calf. I think it was my calf this time around, and they went to go eat. And I had to go straight from training to there to go get therapy, and they went to go eat. They come back, they're like, hey, there's this great place just like right around the corner. Yeah, it's called like Tequeria. I was like, what the fuck is Tequeria? They're like, yeah.
Tequeria.
It's in the Chavez Market area. I'm like, that's all like Mexican food. What is Tequeria? Look at Taqueria.
Taqueria.
I couldn't stop laughing, John. He started calling it Tequeria. Both of them, Phil Baroni and Prangley, both. I'm like,
okay, hold on. Man. You got to look. You got Baroni from New York and you got Prangley from South Africa. Come on,
South Africa. No idea. A lot of South Africans are pretty damn smart.
I didn't say they're not smart, but they don't speak Spanish.
And that's true. That's very true. But Trevor has also a degree. Come on, buddy. Come on. Tequeria. What the fuck?
It's the fancy way of saying.
I couldn't. I was like, wait a second. Tequeria.
My neighbor's kid calls Dairy Queen or DQ now. He calls it Dequa.
Dequa.
Because of the DQ.
DQ.
Let's go to Dequa.
Oh, man. Hey, guys, before we get started, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. And, of course, every single time you guys listen to us, we appreciate the support. I follow you guys in the comments. I read the comments. I know they don't, but I'm going to continue to say this, man. I read them because I like to see the positive feedback. You guys are killing it with the positive feedback. I know we crushed last show. We had to give Sean Strickland his credit. We've got a special guest later on the show we're going to introduce you guys to. And look, man, it's all about what Sean Strickland did. I was disgusted to continue to see like the coaches of Izzy, the Dana White, talking about it more, talking about Izzy had an off night. Izzy this. No, Sean Strickland won that fight. And I just want to touch back on that because
no.
He won that fight.
No, hold on. First off, they're both, I think they're right. He did have an off night. Izzy had an off night, but it was an off night because of Sean Strickland. Not because, his biorhythms were down or, he just wasn't in that position where, sorry, my thing was on.
Zap.
It was in a position where, you know what? He looked slow and looking at bullshit. He faced a guy that presented him with problems that he could not figure out that night. And that's what fighting is. And look, on another night, maybe he'll win. But on that night, Sean Strickland was the better man, and that's why Sean Strickland won. And it had nothing to do with Izzy having an off night. Izzy had an off night because of Sean Strickland.
Let me give people another example of, we just haven't seen people have an off night against or struggle with someone like a Sean Strickland, because that style is not common in MMA. But it wasn't common also too when Machida came in with karate. It wasn't common when Stephen Thompson came in with his style. It's funny how they tend to make people have off nights all the time. Machida made a career off of it, got to the title, won a title because of it, making people have off nights. That has to do with their performance and the way they fight. Sean Strickland is bringing something to the table that we're just not used to seeing. And top-level world-class striker like Izzy just didn't have the answer for it. He didn't know what to do. He didn't know how to handle the pressure. And then not just the pressure, but even when he did get him going backwards, he didn't have the confidence after he got dropped in that first round to keep going forward. This guy hits harder than I thought. This guy's better than I thought. He's just right outside of range, and he's in and out. And I can't get to him. He's just right outside of that range, John. That's dangerous because every single time I got to reach and touch you and I can't. I leave myself open.
It's so frustrating, Josh. You know what it's like. People that have never fought, they don't understand what a person who is putting pressure and controlling the distance is like. And they think that, oh, you're both just standing there and you're both in this position where no, you're not both just standing there. One person is controlling that range. That was Sean Strickland. He was the one determining when I'm coming in, what are you going to do about it? Izzy had the choice. I can stand there and I can throw and bang with this guy, but that's not going well for me. Or I can try to pedal myself out of here, reset, and we'll see what happens. And that's what he was trying to do. And it never worked for him because he could never figure out the range where he could land the strikes on Sean and make it to where Sean was the one missing. It didn't happen. And that was because of Sean Strickland.
But I agree with you. And I think that also, too, what we were talking about is when someone is used to, like Izzy is, he's used to utilizing his length to touch you from the outside and then get out of range before you can hit him coming back out. Sean was always just right outside that range for him to hit him. So he would make him miss. And then if he did hit him, he only hit him with the shoulder. He hit him with he glanced the shoulder. He glanced the glove. He never really hit him clean. And so then
very few solid.
And
shots.
I really believe this, that first round changed the way that Izzy fought the rest of the fight.
No doubt about it. No doubt about that first round. Look, people can sit there and say what they want. He got hit with a freaking right hand that you got to give Izzy credit for being able to survive that kind of shot because it absolutely spun his chin. I think it was Laura Sanko. I don't know if that was the moment she said it, but I do love the spinning of the chin. But spun his chin around, and he then took how many left hands jackhammering him, not all of them landing, but many of them landing and causing him a increased amount of damage that he, at the end of that round, Josh, he wasn't the same guy, and now he had to go out and let's do this 4 more rounds. And each round, it just got worse for him as far as trying to figure out that range. It did not happen for him. And every time that he tried a little bit more in getting into Sean Strickland and landing that big shot, Sean Strickland was the one winning those exchanges and putting damage on Izzy where Izzy was not putting any damage on Sean.
What's your take on some of these people talking about a rematch? Not just Dana, but and then obviously Izzy's coach obviously wants the rematch as well. But I'm talking about there's been some other fighters that have come out, people that work, some of the commentators have come out and said like, yeah, it warrants a rematch. Are they just regurgitating what Dana has been saying, or is it like? I gotta tip my hat to DC because he said
DC. There you go.
He said no. I don't think it warrants.
He said it that night, so he couldn't walk away from it.
Yeah, he shouldn't have. He shouldn't walk away from it.
But he was right. Exactly, he was right. And this is where you take a look, and there's moments where I can look at, and I said it when, he fought Alex and lost. I was like, I don't think that he should take that rematch right away. I think he should take another fight, but it's warranted. He's been the champ, and he's gone through everyone, and he deserves that rematch right away.
But he was winning that fight, too. That's the thing. He was winning, so I could understand why giving him the rematch in that one.
Absolutely.
In that
Absolutely.
one. This one, he didn't win. I don't think he won 1 second of this whole fight.
Yeah, he won the second round. I'll give him the second round. He won the second
you're right.
round.
You know what? You're right. I actually do recall back. He did win the second round. He did.
He won the second round. And it was just a matter of it was a volume thing comparatively. Sean didn't throw a lot. He started following and marching him down, but wasn't really throwing. But
that's when Eric Nixon got into his ass in the third round.
Yes,
Good,
absolutely.
Good job, Eric.
What are you doing? Yeah, And so I look at it and I say, in that situation against, I totally was, he deserves it. But if you take a look, he won the title, winning it back from Alex. And then this was his first defense of it. That's the new title. It's the first defense, and he couldn't even get the first defense. So at this point, this is when you say, I'm going to pull you out of the equation here. I'm going to put somebody else in there to see, does my new champion defend the belt? Or does this other person that I'm going to put, and they've got a couple that they can decide who it's going to be, do they become the new? And we'll see where you are as far as let's put you against a high-ranking quality opponent. Let's see you come back. Let's see you perform the way that we've seen you perform all these times. And then we'll look at putting you either back in a rematch against Sean Strickland if he wins, or in against the new middleweight champion if it's not Strickland at the time. That's the way I look.
I agree with you. All right. Well, hey, speaking of rematches, though, we've got some a rematch this weekend for the UFC in, where is it at? In Noche, or what is it?
It's in Las Vegas.
This is I think at the T-Mobile.
There you go. It's
at the T-Mobile Arena. It is not at the Apex, but it is UFC Noche UFC.
I thought Noche was like a place in Mexico, is what it sounded like from listening to Dave talk about it.
It's almost like Nacho Libre.
But before we talk about this fight, though, John, go to WeighingInMerch.com. Pick up some of our merch available there at WeighingInMerch.com. Thank you, guys. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that little bell and notifications. We got some big interviews coming up hopefully this week. I'm trying to get them all locked down, and if it happens, we'll be dropping shows randomly this week and this weekend and into probably early next week. So make sure you guys hit that bell and that subscribe button there and on the Clips channel. I want to thank you guys so much. And go ahead, John, man. Take us away for this main event.
Well, look, we've got the flyweight championship with Alexa Grasso, who won that championship against the person who has been the stalwart of the division, the person that everyone looked at as unbeatable in Valentina Shevchenko. Well, that's all right. You got to I picked Shevchenko to beat Grasso. I'm not going to sit here and say I didn't, but Grasso comes up with the win. A submission win too. Fantastic job. And in this situation, you got to look and say Valentina deserves an immediate rematch based upon that body of work, how many defenses she had of the title. This makes sense. And so I agree with this being, an immediate rematch. And can Alexa Grasso do it again? And knowing now, yeah, she can. Yeah. If she did it once, she can do it again. It's just a matter of she's got to fight her fight. Don't get into what Valentina wants to do. Don't let Valentina take control of the fight. You fight your fight. This is a great matchup. This is an even fight, in my opinion. Either lady can win this fight. I don't look at Valentina being a huge favorite like she's been. She may be, in the end, a slight favorite over the champ, but it's going to be slight if she is.
Well, she's got 4 losses, Valentina Shevchenko. 2 of them are to Amanda Nunes, correct?
Amanda Nunes.
I don't know who, and then one is to
Liz Carmouche,
and then the other one is to Alexa Grasso. There's your 4 losses. Okay, Liz Carmouche is the champ in Bellator right now. Has fought for the UFC title just against Ronda.
And that loss was based upon a cut.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. In Bellator. Sorry.
Shevchenko's loss to Liz Carmouche was based upon it being the doctor stopped the fight based on a cut.
Got it. Okay, I thought you lost me when you just jumped right to the cut.
I'm sorry.
I was talking about other fights and you said cut. And I'm like, wait a second, where'd this come in?
Whoa.
Okay. My brain's it just goes one direction. Okay, I'm on a roll. You got to let me roll, buddy.
It's linear. It's linear, Josh.
So, but she's got her 4 losses, all against top level competition. And Alexa, we didn't see Alexa Grasso coming out the way she did. She was doing really well on the feet, where Valentina Shevchenko has had plenty of success against top level fighters. But she was struggling a little bit with Alexa Grasso's boxing and the way she was putting the combinations together and sliding in and out of distance. Is where she had the advantage was on the ground. But then she made the mistake. Looked like she got a little tired, made the mistake, and couldn't recover, ended up getting choked. Where do you see, John, in these changes? I look at her as being favored, I wouldn't say by a lot, but I think it's going to be more than what you're suggesting. I'm thinking if I'm going to put her, I'm going to say it's going to be probably a minus, probably 205, 220, somewhere in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Man, I tell you what, I don't know if you've looked at odds because I have not.
No, I haven't.
But I would say, man, she's going to end up, if she's a minus, it's going to be a minus, 140.
Really? John, Dave, can you pull us up some odds on there, buddy, please? But I'm thinking somewhere around 205 is kind of what I was thinking.
Really?
Yeah, I think somewhere around there. Yeah, because
I tell you what.
Because look,
that's a tough one.
I can look back at champions and they tend to just get bored. You've been there for so long. You've kind of wiped out the division. Alexa Grasso, I know, is coming up. She's young, but she hasn't really shown you anything that's going to make you feel like I should be threatened by her. I think that. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Oh, John, 170.
170. That's all right.
What'd you say? 140? You said 140?
I said minus 140.
No, I said 205. You were closer. Damn you. Not by much. Not by much.
Pretty much in the middle.
Yeah, but I was off by 5, I think, right? I'm gonna do the math. You guys figure it out. Let me know in the comments down below. It was, but I look at her. I look at Valentina. Potentially overlooked her. Potentially thought like I'm better than her on the feet. She doesn't look like she possesses a lot of power. On the ground, I'm probably above her. I feel like I'm physical. You look at Alexa Grasso, right? She doesn't seem like she's physically strong. Maybe she was.
But we know she can hit.
We know she can pop. She got crack. But I think Valentina Shevchenko she underestimated her ability in the clinch, and also too in the ability to keep her back off the fence and stuff takedowns. Where she made the mistake was looked like she got a little tired and she tried to shoot, made a mistake, got to the back and choke.
Okay, let me turn this around for you now. Because if you did it once, you can definitely do it again.
I agree.
And she better be highly prepared for Alexa Grasso and go in there and put on one of her best performances, because Alexa Grasso is going to be a better fighter in this fight than she was in the last fight. She's now the champ, and she has something to prove. I mean, they even have a whole belt thing. Have you seen her belt now?
Yeah. It's like it's all different colors. Yeah,
it's all colored out, and it looks like a colorful pinata.
Pantoja got one. Pantoja got one also.
Oh, did he get one too?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like she knows. Hey, how important is this fight in the career of Alexa Grasso? It's huge. She gets a second win against Shevchenko in the flyweight division. I'm telling you, Josh, she has basically cemented herself, stolen all of what Valentina has done and created in this division since it was put out there for the UFC in the women's. She's been the champ. Nico Montana had it at the very beginning, and as soon as Valentina dropped down, she ended up taking the title, and it's been hers. If Grasso wins again, first off, do you give Shevchenko another shot? No, you don't. She's got to have to go through everybody again. She's going to fall so far behind in that division if she ends up with the 2 losses against. It's almost like what's happened with Max Holloway and Volkanovski. Take a look at that situation. How good is Max Holloway? He's lost multiple times to the champ, and they don't want to put him in a title fight. Eventually they might, but it becomes they keep on looking for who else, and they just pass you by, even though you're ranked at that number 1 position. And I have a feeling if Alexa Grasso beats Shevchenko might still be number 1 as the contender, but she ain't going to get another shot.
Well, I'm going to throw a wrench in it. I think with Amanda Nunes gone, I think she goes up to 135.
She could.
I think she does. The only reason why she went down to 125. Yeah. Her against Pena, her against anybody that's there at 135. Stylistically, she's a bad matchup for all of them. She's a tough matchup for all of them.
Tough matchup.
She's a bad matchup for some of them. So,
yeah.
But here's my other question, though, is if Alexa Grasso doesn't win, do you give Alexa Grasso the rematch right away? Do you do that? Then we end up with the...
No, I don't. I wait one. And I know it's like, and this is why she didn't defend the belt.
Well, what if it's a split decision loss?
That's different.
Yeah.
If it's a close fight, it's going to be different.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like, if Valentina loses, she goes to 35. She tries her luck out there. She's like, look, I know it'll be a while before I get a title shot anyways at 125. It's going to be 4 fights probably. You got 2 losses in a row to the same girl, female.
Yeah.
All right. And it's and Alexa Grasso is going to be riding off into the sunset trying to make up for other challengers. Alexa may end up losing it too to somebody. Who knows? Styles make matchups. We all know that. But when I look at this fight, I look at in the first round, I believe Alexa won. Second round, I believe what round did this end in? The fourth? Can you pull up? I think Alexa Grasso caught her in the fourth. And she caught her with the submission, but she was losing the fight though up until that moment.
Yeah, she was.
So I think she won the first, and then she started losing the fight after that. Was it fourth? Yeah, it was fourth. So I don't know, man. I think Valentina is going to be able to get it done, unless it ends up being a split decision. I think they're going to move on. I agree with you. I think they'll move on. But it should be a good fight. I'm not counting Alexa Grasso out, but I think that Valentina fell victim to. She doesn't seem like she has power. Sure, her stand-up's good, but I'm better. My wrestling's probably a little bit better. I know I can take her down, control her. I don't know. She just looked. I'm not gonna say she looked flat. I'm gonna say that she started to get tired in that fourth round. She shot a takedown or ended up somewhere on a single leg. I believe, ended up losing the back position and got choked. And I look at that. I'm thinking to myself, she comes in better shape. She comes in a little bit more prepared. She understands what Alexa Grasso can do, and I think she runs away with this fight.
We're gonna find out because like I said, she was a phenomenal champion, and she did so many good things throughout her career in the UFC. One fight does not determine who you are and what you are and what your standing is, and so she has, at least now it's that whole. Now the target's not on her back. Now she can look at that target on somebody else's and aim for it. So that's always a good thing.
I want to see the young female though come up. I do want to see her. I mean, I don't know. She's really good, John. Alexa Grasso's really good. Valentina's really good. Makes for a great fight. But I was leaning towards the odds being a little bit more towards minus 200 for Valentina. Split it in the middle. All right, next fight.
Yep. We have Kevin Holland taking on Jack Della Magdalena. That is a really cool matchup when you look at it. It's a guy in Holland who is just long, lanky, like you like to say. He's got good stand-up. I don't think he has quite the power of Magdalena, but Magdalena goes to the body really well. On the ground, I don't think there's a comparison. I think Kevin is way better than Jack on the ground. But the real question is, what Kevin are we going to see? Is he going to be the smart Kevin, the Kevin that goes out there and fights the smart fight? Or is he going to sit there and say, you know what, everyone says you're really good in the stand-up. Let's just stand here and bang on each other. And that could be Kevin. So, Della Magdalena is coming off of a fight that a lot of people put out that he lost. He did not lose it, but it was a good fight against a guy that came in last second, and it was a tough fight. That guy made it just a barn burner of a fight. Did a lot of grappling, trying to slow down Magdalena in the stand-up. Magdalena had the better striking overall, but Magdalena has to get past that performance, and now he's in with a tougher competitor with Kevin Holland, and can he deal with what could be a complete game? The one thing, Magdalena is not a great wrestler. Kevin Holland's not a great wrestler. On the ground, Kevin Holland has definitely got the advantage. In the stand-up, all right, I'll give it to Jack. He's got very good boxing. He goes to the body well. I love that part of him. And so maybe he's the better striker by a little bit. How do you look at it?
I mean, I think this is Kevin Holland's fight to lose. I think
so do I.
The reach, the range.
I agree with you.
I think the speed, how hittable Jack Della Magdalena is. That's a fucking that's a mouthful name.
That is. That's a tough one.
It's a mouthful. Yeah. Just Kevin Holland's, I think, is definitely got the advantage on the ground. I'm not sure if Kevin's going to take this fight to the ground, but if it does happen to hit the ground, I mean, he's got.
Okay. How could you be in his corner, his coach, and not have it planned? Hey, we want to take this guy to the ground.
But how does he get it there, though, John? He doesn't want to wrestle. How do you get it there? Clinch, lift, slam? I think if he does it that way, I think he's got a good opportunity of getting right to the hooks, getting right to the back, getting the choke, whatever it is. The power is going to definitely go towards Della Magdalena. But can you get in that range? without getting kneed in the face. Without getting control, without getting his front headlock position shucked down and then maybe to the back and take it back and all these things. It's Kevin Holland's fight to lose. I think he is finally showing after the Stephen Thompson fight. What has he had? 2 fights since then?
Yep.
Since Stephen Thompson? He looks a lot better. He looks like he's willing to go ahead and fight a little bit smarter. You understand? Like I think it's there. It's there for him. He understands, look, I'm right there. I've had 1 or 2 good more performances. They might be talking about me getting a title shot. The way I run my mouth, the way I'm a fan favorite. I mean, he is. I mean, fans love him, man. And all the shit he does outside catching robbers and carjackers and all this other shit.
Dude, he's awesome.
I mean, this guy makes everyone want to be a fan. I'm a damn fan, and he's talented in there. He's got a talking mouthpiece. He's learned how to dim that down a little bit while he's fighting and focus on the fight.
While he's fighting,
that makes a big difference in keeping your fans. And I think it's his fight to lose. Nothing against Della Maddalena, but I think that he's got one shot. He's got one shot at getting to the body, maybe hitting him, dropping him with a body shot, and trying to get whatever finish you can get. Because Della Maddalena's got a good, I believe, arming guillotine. He'll try to hit that arming guillotine. I believe is it guillotine or arming guillotine that he was trying to hit. He tried to hit it. Yeah, he tried to hit it.
He'll switch it back and forth, but he's good with the arm.
Yeah, also. But I'm not sure that's something you want to try to hit on Kevin Holland, who's a pretty damn good grappler when he tries to utilize it. So we'll see. I guess we're gonna find out. That's what fight night is. What are the odds on this fight there, Dave? I believe Kevin Holland's probably a plus 250. Oh wow. Wow.
See, look at that.
Okay, look.
See? Okay, look.
I'm taking some money on this fight. Okay, so you got Kevin Holland at a plus 130, and you got Jack Della Maddalena at minus 155. I mean, John, I'm taking them odds. I'm taking those odds straight up. Probably putting 250 down. Maybe. I mean, look, if you want to go big, go big. But for me, my limit's 250, buddy. My limit's 250. I just
Mama doesn't even know about that.
No. This is all like back transactions on my Venmo.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. But I don't understand this. Look, if I'm someone on the outside looking in, I'm going, look, and if the prop bets come up, potential finishes, I mean, Kevin Holland could finish him in the first, the second with some sort of submission. I think he finishes him. I think he actually gets him out of there. So I'm going to take Kevin Holland straight up on this bet. And if there's prop bets available, maybe a first round or second round TKO or finish or whatever it is, however your prop bets fit, whether you want to be a submission, whether you want to be a KO, or if you want to just be a finish at all, try to pick that up, but check and see. I think that submission could happen quick in the first round with the submission or TKO or KO.
Yeah.
All right.
And we have Raul Rojas Jr. going up against Terrence Mitchell. Rojas coming off of his very first loss of his career. We're going to see how he responds to that. I've heard outstanding things coming from him training recently. Supposedly he's looking very good. He learned a lesson in that fight. He wasn't able to control that fight the way that he thought he could control it, and things got away from him. Terrence Mitchell, talented, tough. I'm not sure that he's good enough, especially on the ground, to stay with Rosas Jr.
Yeah, but if he can sprawl and brawl and keep this on the feet, I mean, he's got a record of 14-3. He's got to have, he's got the talent to keep this thing on the feet and make Rojas Jr. tired, shoot for the takedowns. Rojas Jr. got tired last fight. He's going to have to fix that. All those shots, all those chasing those submissions, none of them came to fruition, and it exhausts you. He had no answer. He just kept going to the well. He has no stand-up. Until he fixes that, he'll be a one-dimensional fighter, and that's it. And look, I'm not a naysayer. I think
from what I've heard, he's looking pretty damn good in the gym.
Okay, but John, looking good in the gym against guys that are working with you and all those things, and I get it. I think that he's going to have to change his game a little bit. He's going to add those strikes, whether it's big shots to get in on the clinch, getting in on the body lock, whatever it is. Commit to these strikes enough to close that distance and get in there, whether it's on a single, a double, a body lock, whatever it is. He's going to have to remedy that situation. I don't think there's been enough time between his last fight and this fight for him to have gotten any much better on the feet. He needs to spend time doing that. It needs to be a consistent.
It does take time, and it's something that doesn't happen overnight. But I would think that he's going to be a huge favorite in this fight.
I'm not disagreeing on that. I think a lot of people have him as a favorite. He is really good on the ground. He is.
He's probably a minus 500.
Ooh, let's take a look at that there, Dave. I think John already saw it.
No, I did not.
Oh, he's a minus 700.
Minus 700.
Wow.
Damn.
Hey, but look, it's a minus 700 with the
I was
plus
only
500.
200 points off. Damn.
This could be one of those bets, you guys. Put $20 down on Terrence Mitchell. You put $20 down on Terrence Mitchell. Fuck it. What do you got? Like you got $20 to lose. Do it.
Terrence Mitchell is a very good athlete. I don't think he's going to win.
How many of you guys are wishing you would have put $25 down on Sean Strickland like I was? I wish I would have. My number one rule, if they're that spread apart, just throw $20 down or $25, whatever it is. Throw a little cash down. I know it sucks if you lose it, but guess what? If you win it, it feels good. It feels really good.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right. Well, hey.
All right, next fight. Pull it up there, Dave.
There we go.
Daniel Zellhuber against Christos Giagos. Christos has been in a lot of fights. He's a good young man. I like him. Known him for a long time. He's going to have a tough one against Zellhuber. Zellhuber is talented. Daniel Zellhuber is good everywhere. Christos is good. He's got good stand-up. His ground game really improved. Zellhuber is one of those, man, 13-1, and he's an up-and-comer. That's going to be a tough fight for Christos. Christos can get it done, and he can beat him, but that's going to be a tough one.
I'm not sure he can get it done, John.
Okay.
I think Zellhuber is somebody he's explosive. He's got the power. He's a little bit short and stocky. He got a little back or big back. Like he's someone that can put it all together. He doesn't look like he gets tired, and he can just grind on you and put the pace on you. I think this is one of those fights where Giagos or whatever is just going to have to bite down on the mouthpiece and take a chance. Otherwise, he's just going to get bullied around that cage.
Yeah, could be. Honestly, it could be. Fernando Padilla against Kyle Nelson. Very evenly matched. I really like Fernando Padilla. Fun to watch. Very long, lanky, good stand-up. He's got a good ground game. The kid's good everywhere. Kyle Nelson, tough. Just never gives in on the fight. So good matchup. Really is going to be in my opinion, the technicality of Padilla and how does he control the range and where the fight's at against Nelson. But good matchup.
Any other fights on here you want to talk about? I know there's Roman Kopylov versus Josh Fremd. That should be like Kopylov I think is going to be favored in that fight. Josh Fremd tough as hell. And then you've got Daniel D'Souza.
I want to give it.
Go ahead.
Now the big one, Tracy Cortez against Jasmine Jasvidius, who is coming off of a huge win. She had, I believe it was against Miranda Maverick. Fantastic win in her last fight. Yep. And she's going up against Tracy Cortez, who's
been out for a while.
She has been. I think she had an injury there for a little bit, but she is now back. How long has it been? Since May of so it's a little while, but that's a year. Great matchup.
Yeah, over a year there.
Well, the real question is, Jasmine can wrestle. Tracy, she can wrestle, but not like Jasmine can. Tracy's got good stand-up. It's a great matchup between the two. I think that's going to be the highlight fight of the prelims.
Yeah, it should be the highlight fight of the prelims. I look at Tracy Cortez. She has all the intangibles of what you're looking for if you're trying to market somebody. This time away though is definitely hurt her a little bit. I think outside of the cage stuff kind of get her mind right. Now she's back after the injury as well. Jasmine's getting better, fighting top level competition. But Tracy's got to come in with the mindset that she can't be beat. If she can do that, she's fun, man. She's fun to watch. Tracy Cortez is. So, and Jasmine's obviously, she's a dog, and not in a negative way. She's a dog in terms she can get after it.
She can fight.
Is this Charlie Campbell, the one that fought in Bellator? I believe he just got signed too.
Yes, it is.
It is, right? Can you click on that for me, please?
Yep.
Bottom right corner. It is Charlie. Yep. I just saw he got signed to the UFC. Good for him, buddy. I loved watching him in Bellator. I think he was undefeated in Bellator. Did he lose in Bellator? Do you have a loss in Bellator?
I don't
Undefeated in Bellator, but not undefeated.
No, I know he's not undefeated, but yeah, he had
He's
a
7-2. But he came in and he fought Nainoa Dung, who is a young Hawaiian kickboxer, good tough kid, and actually took out a good kickboxer with leg kicks.
Yeah,
he ate up Nainoa's legs and stuff, and that was when we really saw, hey, this kid can be someone. And, he had a couple of good fights in Bellator, beat Nick Giulietti, and that was a great fight for him and stuff. He got a same thing, leg kicks.
I was surprised we didn't sign
Goes
him.
after the legs, man.
I was surprised we didn't sign him because he was fun. He actually was a little bit of shit talker in the cage.
Came to fight.
He came to fight. He was active on social media, kind of what you're looking for from someone who's kind of trying to build their brand. You're looking for fighters that do that. If you're a promotion, and he was trying to build his own. I remember he always came out with like his own design shirts. He had a little crowd that came out. I think his name is the Cannibal. It's Charles. Yeah. So, but look, congratulations to him, man. I've been a fan of his. He's a great kid too. Super sociable. Sociable. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Good luck to him. Want to wish him the best of luck. Dave, what else you got for us, buddy? That's going to wrap up our UFC talk. And before we get into that, make sure you guys subscribe to us. Hit that subscribe button. Also, hit that little bell. We've got some shows and some interviews we're going to be doing this week. They're going to be dropping. And it's going to either drop this week right before this show, or it's going to drop early next week. But we may even have more than one. There might be a couple of those coming up. I'm trying to get these all scheduled and locked down. But hey, after that, go to Weighing In Fans. Go to OnlyFans at Weighing In Fans. Way to go. OnlyFans.com/weighing in. OnlyFans.com/weighing in. Subscribe to us over there. It is free. OnlyFans.com/weighing in. Subscribe to us over there, and it is free. And John, what do we got, man?
We have got a guy that we get to talk to that has been just lighting the cage on fire. We're talking a guy that is undefeated. The funny part is he just trains with everyone, has recently been training with Sean Strickland, so he's got a very good feeling about why Sean Strickland was so successful against Israel Adesanya. We have got the Bellator middleweight world champion, Johnny Pressure Eblen, for a nice, it's only about Johnny's fifth or sixth moniker, as far as it used to be Diamond Hands, Human Cheat Code, Soldier Boy, Korean Canelo, and now it is Pressure. Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and we are honored to have the man, the myth, the legend, the world champ. We've got Johnny, I got to say it now, it's the new one, Pressure Eblen, there with us. I mean, I've gone through Soldier Boy, the Korean Canelo,
my favorite Korean
Diamond
Canelo.
Hands, Human Cheat Code, and now it's the Pressure. I love that, dude. You changed
Johnny Pressure.
Dude, you change nicknames more than I change suits. That is fucking phenomenal. I love that, man. How you feeling, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I guess I can do what I want. I'm the champ, so if I want to change my nickname, I can change my nickname.
Right.
There you go. I like that.
Fuck what they say. Because I'm over here wanting to give you a hard time the whole time. Like, man, please stop. The Korean Canelo was perfect.
I love that.
It was my favorite one. I didn't mind the cheat code.
I even like Soldier Boy.
I didn't mind the cheat code once I figured out what it was. I don't play video games, so I didn't mind that once I understood what it meant. Like, oh, you get the cheat code and you end up getting to the boss and all this other shit. I never understood that. But
there was some cool stuff we were doing with like the Matrix code in the background and shit, and like a lot of the things you can do with that. That was fun. But yeah, I don't know. I'm moving on. New nickname now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have like 20 by the time I'm done.
it's driving me
You're
crazy.
going to give MCW a heart attack, man. He's not going to know what to read on his little card. He's going to be all confused.
So, look, I noticed you're wearing these glasses, but go ahead and tell people why. Because you and I were talking off air with John. I mean, John was kind of just listening because he has sleep apnea, and we want to make sure he stays alive. So, but let's go ahead and talk. Talk to me about the glasses, because you're coming up on your fight next week, and what do the glasses help you do?
Yeah, so usually, after the sun goes down, I put these on if I'm like doing any screen time or like, there's any blue light, like artificial light. I try to keep it out because helps me go to bed later on in the afternoon. Yeah, it's just there's a lot of science behind it. It's blue light blockers. Big change I made. I think about 3 years ago I started doing it, and it kind of helps me regulate my sleep.
John and I talk about this all the time. John, like we say, the level between the top 2 or 3 guys is like a half a percentage point, maybe like a 1%.
Not even that.
Yeah, sometimes it's not even that. I mean, like you're splitting hairs really on what little advantages you can get. There's this new thing going around that I actually just bought some. Rich Chow, is our former matchmaker for Bellator. He got me kind of turned on to it. Was this sleep tape, and you sleep with it over your mouth, and it helps you to breathe only through your nose. And it's supposed to increase your cardiovascular. It's supposed to also help with your conditioning. It's supposed to help with all these types of things with your muscle, helping you with your muscle recovery, your muscle fatigue, all of those things, getting rid of your lactic acid, because you're supposed to only breathe in through your nose. Your nose is meant to get rid of all the shit out of the air because you have this little filtration system there. But when you breathe through your mouth, that all goes right into your lungs. You're just breathing in shit. It makes a lot of sense when you think about it, so I'm going to give it a try. Hopefully I don't die.
It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense because it also helps lead to a stroke because you can't breathe.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, I've been trying to get a little better shape, so hopefully that doesn't happen between now and the time I get this sleep tape.
Yeah, the whole nasal breathing thing is kind of big lately. So I want to kind of try the mouth tape as well, but I usually don't have trouble breathing through my nose unless like I'm sick or something. Then like I'll fucking breathe through my mouth and like I'm waking up with a dry mouth. I'm like, fuck, and get water, and it just sucks. But yeah, I definitely want to breathe through your nose, especially like when you're training and when you're sleeping.
The history that I've heard though is that the Russians actually kind of were the first ones to start this. Was they would run sprints or run long distances with water in their mouth. And you weren't allowed to swallow weren't allowed to swallow the water. So the coaches would have them run whatever it was, and at the end of whatever they were doing, they would spit the water out. So that would let you know.
Forces you to breathe through your nose.
Yeah, force you to breathe through your nose. So that was the way that they did their conditioning and their cardio, whether it was long distance, short sprints, whatever. It was teaching you how to breathe through your nose by keeping the water in your mouth. And a coach was able to keep you, hold you liable by saying, accountable by spitting the water out at the end. Let me see. How much do you have left? That kind of thing. So
that's why you had Russians drowning in the desert. Okay.
Man, who brought Negative Nancy, right, Johnny Eblen? Who brought Negative Nancy to this party?
Well, hold on. Look, I'm going to give it up that Johnny does a lot of new. He gets into some of the new technology, and I love the blue blocker glasses. I think that's awesome and stuff. But let's be honest, Johnny, it's basic hard work that has put you in the position that you are in today.
Yeah, definitely basic hard work, but also, my ability to train smart to where I'm not like fucking myself up at the end of the day. I'm making sure I'm training hard and training long hours, but also taking time to recover and taking care of my body and taking care of my mental health to where I can show up every week at the gym and train hard. And obviously you got to pick certain partners that you got to go with, because some guys go a little bit too hard. And some days you might want to get some rounds. Some days you might want to just work technical stuff. So I think it's really important for fighters to understand, like, yeah, it is hard work, but you also have to be a little bit more cerebral about it and put yourself and set yourself up to become successful.
Well, I don't want to get too much. You kind of brought it up, and I want to we'll get into your fight in a little bit, but there's something that happened big over the last weekend. And I know you spent some time training with Strickland, and I know that there's been you guys train for 2 weeks, 10 days, something like that together?
Every time I go out, we train pretty much for like a week together. I usually go out for like week, 10 days. That's the longest I've ever been out there. But yeah, we'll spar. We do 5 rounds straight up, or if we're at extreme, we'll split it up sometimes. We'll go with like a couple other guys. But yeah, I mean, we train together a lot. Great training partner, really good look. And we're always pushing each other.
Well, you and I were having this conversation through text today, and I was talking to and felt like I was talking to, telling you, like, hey, people didn't give him the credit at the end. Dana White came out. I want to say that, he looked slow. He looked off. Even his coach came out and said, oh, no, he was just off. We had an off night. It was what it is. But you and I were talking and you said, look, the first couple of times I sparred with him, the things that I normally land on people, those things, they just weren't working with him. Like, walk us through it. Like, what about him makes it awkward?
His style is very different. and you don't really come across it very often. And so when you do for the first time, you're just like, what the fuck? Like, I can't, it's hard to hit this guy. He keeps landing this damn jab. And then, like, he's hitting you with the most simple shit, you know, a teep kick, fucking jab, a right hand, and a left hook. For the most part, that's what he would land, you know.
That's what we talked about.
He doesn't really, you know, stray too far from it. And I mean, his style is he's standing right in front of you, and he's still hard to hit. And, you know, after training with him a little bit, I started figuring out a little bit more and actually made my game better to where, my striking got better, my wrestling got better. Like, he's a great training partner. He's a great look because of his awkward style, if that makes any sense. So, yeah, I think 1,000% Sean won that fight because he won the fight. Izzy didn't lose the fight. Sean won the fight.
No, absolutely. Well, you know, one of the things we just talked about your new nickname, and you are a pressure fighter. Sean Strickland is a pressure fighter. He puts you in a position where you're not comfortable because he keeps on closing the distance on you, putting you in the space that he wants to be in, and you either have to accept it or you have to adjust with it. And that is a difficult thing to do for you as a pressure fighter. What is it when you're facing someone like a Strickland that you think is the best thing for someone to do? Is it say, all right, I'm not going to give space, you're not going to give space, we're going to sit here and we're going to meet in the middle? Or is it, you've got to learn how to make those moves and get the angles to when he does step into range, you get him?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. For me personally, I have to be able to do both, like pressure him back at times and move him backwards, but also sometimes accept the pressure and work off of what I can do based off him pressuring me, if that makes any sense. So you don't want to be able to only fight one way. Like, if you can only fight forward, that's a problem. You got to be able to fight backwards and forwards and even side to side. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta be able to adapt under pressure. Like, if you can only fight backwards, that's a problem. You should be able to pressure people at times. So for me personally, I like to approach it to where, yeah, I'm going to obviously use my pressure and utilize my wrestling and utilize my striking and move forward at times, but also I need to be able to be slick and move back and be able to hit and counterpunch with you. So that's the biggest thing, I think, that I learned how to pressure a pressure fighter with Sean.
Did you watch that fight from beginning to end? The Strickland Izzy fight?
Oh yeah.
And so
oh yeah, dude. I was fucking on the edge of my seat the whole time.
Give me the breakdown. He also went out and trained with Alex Grasso as well, and then he's done a lot of work with you. One guy that's already beaten him, and yourself, a champion in another organization. But what did you see in that fight that Izzy was having problems with when it came to Sean that you were very aware of because you've dealt with it?
Izzy couldn't land anything like really clean, and it was really bothering him. Even the leg kicks, Sean was checking most of them or making him miss. And then Sean would hit him with a jab, and then constantly Izzy was on his back foot, constantly moving back, couldn't land anything clean. And honestly, in the first round, Sean dropped him. So fucking Izzy's worried about his power now. You could tell in his face, he's like, shit, dude, this guy's a lot better than I thought, and I can't hit him like I thought I could hit him. You know, and also Eric Nixick's a great cornerman and a great coach, and he was telling Sean Izzy's reads. I was actually like kind of looking into it today. Like I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw someone post like, he's trying to set you up for the left head kick because he went southpaw, was throwing the straight left, and then Nixick was kind of saying, hey, watch out for that left high kick after the punch. He's setting it up. And it's like, I guess they talked afterwards, Izzy and Nixick, and he was like, yeah, you were telling him all your reads. You saved that man's life. I don't really think he did, but like that just shows you how great of a cornerman and coach Eric Nixick is, along with how good Sean is. So it's like when you put those two together, I mean, that's just gold.
What about him makes people underestimate him?
It's just his style is so simple, but he makes it work, and it's just like they're not used to seeing this type of fighter. You know, he's not super athletic and explosive. He doesn't do very big movements. He's not cold cocking dudes, putting him out like Alex Grasso. But I mean, the way he fights. It's just like years and years of like training and sparring, and he developed a style that works for him. And it's just like the mainstream just doesn't understand, like, man, in a real fist fight, this style works.
It's amazing when you look at his style, because he does a lot of things. If honestly, if you're going to look and say, is that a good thing to do? For most guys, you're going to say, no, it's not. But for him, it works because he's so good with it, and he is so relaxed when he's in that cage. You can tell that he's just comfortable, and he gets into a flow, and he just starts moving forward and doing the same thing over and over and over again, and that just eventually gets to his opponent. For you, one of the things that I've been super impressed with you is you started off obviously with your wrestling background, Johnny, because you came from the University of Missouri, and you were a great wrestler in the cage. And then your stand-up really just started to elevate, and you got much, much better. But you have stayed with utilizing your wrestling at times when people do not expect you to do it. Please tell me you're going to just stay with that type of style for the rest of your career, because it makes you multidimensional. And it's the one thing that I'll say about Sean. Look, you can get into those positions. You have one style. Someone can deal with that style. Now it becomes, you don't have that plan B to go to. It becomes much more difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. I'm going to utilize all my tools in my tool belt when it comes to a fist fight. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in there to win. I'm not in there to make a point or like to say, hey, I can outstrike this guy. He thinks I'm a better striker. No, I'm here to win the fight and beat this guy up. So I'm going to use every tool that I possibly can use to get that W. So basically, I mean, and if something gets shut down, I'm not super afraid about it either, because I train. I've gone rounds where I haven't taken one shot. Like, I do straight up kickboxing rounds with like 6-time world champion kickboxer Artem Levin. Like, they're like,
Artem's the son bitch.
Yeah, he's fucking great, bro. He helped me this whole camp. I did 65 rounds this camp. Some of them were Strickland, some of them were Sadi Sai, some of them, or most of them, were with Artem and Josh De Silveira. He's in the PFL, and Jocko, Christoph Jocko helped me a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I'm not, if like I can't take you down, like, or maybe I take you down and you get up, I'm not worried about it, man. I can strike with you, but I'm gonna utilize my takedowns. Like, I will take you down. It's gonna happen. It's just a matter of like, am I gonna be able to hold you down? Who knows? Like, I'm working on it. I'm working on it to be able to hold motherfuckers down, punch them, submit them. Obviously, it's part of my game plan, but like, if it doesn't happen, I'm not too worried about it.
I don't want to get off Strickland just yet, but here wrestling is next level. We've seen it inside the cage, and I've seen practices of it a little bit here in clips, small clips there. Your wrestling's next level, and your teammates speak very highly of it and the way you put the two things together. But in terms of with Sean, his coach Eric was asking for him to threaten the takedowns after the third round or into the third round. And we got kind of a half-ass body lock in the fourth. You know what I mean? We got a half-ass body lock in the fourth, and it was kind of and then he kind of didn't worry about it the rest of the time. How good is his wrestling? And when you look at that, when I look at the guys in his weight class, none of them are standout wrestlers. You're not talking about like a world-class wrestler in that division. So
no,
where does he stand in terms of being able to stuff guys and take them down if he needs to?
Man, Sean can grapple. He's not the best wrestler. Like, when me and him wrestle, I take him down. Like, no lie. But it's hard to keep that motherfucker down. I will say that. Like, he gets the fuck up. Like, he realized, I think after the Kamaru Usman fight, he told me, he's like, I realized jiu-jitsu doesn't really work. Like, for him, for him. He's not like really great off his back or anything, So he's like, yeah, I just fucking get up now and make it a fist fight, instead of like a grappling match. But I've seen him hold down people, dude. Like, he came to ATT. He's grappled with some of the guys around here, and I know how good of a grappler they are. And he's held some people down. And he does really good against the cage. Like, he can grapple, he can wrestle. He's not the type of wrestler like I am, obviously, but his grappling skills are up there. He is a BJJ black belt.
When you take a look at, I am now going to go away from him to your opponent that you are going to be fighting in a guy that is very athletic. Fabian Edwards has looked really good. He just beat the man that you took the title from in his last fight to get the shot at you in Dublin, Ireland. And everyone has known that he's been a guy that kind of lived in the beginning, like his brother, off of kickboxing, off of being a very elusive striker, having power. But he's gotten into more of saying that he can wrestle, he can grapple, and he has tried to prove it multiple times. And, what are you doing? Don't do that yet. I do not see him trying to ever take you down. But when you take a look at him as an athlete, have you seen improvements in that area for him or no?
I think the Charlie Ward fight, I think he utilized some grappling there. And he did take down Gegard. A couple of them were like Gegard was like off balance. And I mean, he did it. It was like good stuff, you know, nothing crazy, nothing amazing that really popped out like, oh shit, this guy's really good at wrestling. Don't get me wrong. I can see that he's trying to work on it. And I mean, kudos to him. I'm trying to get my striking better. So, I mean, he's elevating the mixed martial arts like pedigree. So, I mean, good for him.
Do you notice a bump in, like, when you guys get champions at American Top Team, do you notice like the gym morale kind of changes inside that gym? Like, hey, this person just won a title. It's changed. You know, you've got yourself, you've got Yaroslav Amosov, you know, UFC champs. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. But the
Pantoja.
Yeah, Pantoja. So, yeah, that's right. Fucking, what a fucking fight.
Flyweight.
He's a bad motherfucker.
That was a great fight.
What a fight.
Yeah, that was a ballsy fight.
He is such a badass, man. I remember watching him get ready for that fight, and I thought I trained hard, and I'm like, dude, this guy got some like demons inside of him, like how hard he's training. Like I could tell, man. And I mean, after I heard his story a little bit after he won the belt, that like he was fucking driving for Uber Eats like a few fights ago. I'm like, no wonder this motherfucker was training so hard. Like he's like, yeah, fuck. Like basically, I don't know, man. Like all of us fighters have something wrong with us, and it's like we tap into that when we're training hard to like, I don't know, it makes us work harder. It's weird. It's like, thanks trauma. Thank you, childhood trauma, for helping me become a Bellator world champion.
A lot of it just comes from we believe in ourselves. We believe that we should be at a higher standard. We try to hold ourselves at a higher standard. We want more for ourselves in life, and we know we can do it if we just put the work in. And I think you're the same way. I think Pantoja's the same way.
Yeah.
All those guys. Look at Amosov. All these guys. We all have, like you said, something's wrong with us. There is something. We're not cut from the same. We're all cut from a different cloth, but there's something wrong with us. But it ends up working out perfectly once we found this sport.
Yeah, I think it's the right place to put your energy, you know, instead of other things that could get you into trouble for sure.
One question I have for you is, and I always say that when you're the contender, when you were coming up, you know, and you were going to fight, you know, Mousasi for the title, you had a target. It was, I want that title. Your teammate had fought him in the previous fight, and it didn't go well for him, and you had watched him. You knew exactly what you were going to be able to do. And, you know, even Josh and I, we were, you know, in that position. We go, we wish he had one more fight, just one more fight.
Yeah.
And you basically said, I don't need one more fight. That's what you told us. And you goes, you guys, you don't get it. And you were right. You proved us. We didn't get it. You didn't need that fight. But now you have defended the title. You have people now that are targeting you all the time. You're the target. How is it that you motivate yourself for each of these fights as they're coming down the line? What are you doing to make it to where you are motivated for that fight, and it's not like, okay, I'll do it, but I don't want to?
Honestly, man, I'm in it to become the best, and I'm my hardest critic. Like, there's literally like I'll go 5 rounds with 2 different guys that are fresh, and I'll get tired by the end of it, and I'll be like, fucking, those rounds weren't as good. I got hit too much, blah, blah. And they're like, dude, you did great. You won every single fucking round. You beat up 2 guys today. And I'm like sitting here like, no, I could have done this better. I could have done that better. It's like, I'm almost a perfectionist. I want things to fucking be perfect. I'm always working to improve myself. And like, honestly, I don't know if I'm ever going to achieve like this, like, how I picture myself in my head, like how I want to be. And you know what? As long as I'm working towards that and trying to get better all the time, and I'm doing everything in my power to become better, I'll be okay with the end product and all my success after that. But that's what keeps me going, man, is like just my improvement and me wanting to be like perfect. Even though like I don't even know what perfect is, but like I'm trying to achieve that.
I'm not familiar. Have you fought in Dublin, Ireland yet? No. And
I only went there to watch Amosov fight, and that was really
what
cool.
did you think of that crowd?
Fucking awesome, dude. I can't wait to fight in front of that crowd.
Now, some of that crowd is going to be kind of a little bit more leaning his way, possibly because they're going to come over from from England, UK area there. So, that type of stuff doesn't seem to bother you at all, from what I've seen and gathered. But what do you look at that mixed in with his crowd coming over, and then his kind of the way he carries himself? What about those things that kind of do any of those things have an effect on you?
No, not really. I just kind of think he's kind of a brat in a sense, like the way he holds himself. But it's all good. Like once we get in that cage, he's gonna figure out, man. Like I'm built different, and I'm gonna fucking put him in his place, man.
What about him though? Like what I'm saying, when you see him in the cage, what about him? When you look at him, go, hey, this guy is good here. This guy is good here. Now we know he's a good kickboxer. We know that he's gotten better at his takedown defense. He's extremely fast. He has a tendency to sometimes kind of just flow through it a little bit, kind of almost take the foot off the gas. I felt like with the Charlie Ward fight, he could have potentially got him out of there, but he was just cruising, I think, after the takedown started coming, the control started coming. How do you get him out of that comfort zone where he just feels like he can just cruise through this?
Put that fucking pressure on him, bro. Put that pressure on him. Make him be in the fire constantly. Make him fucking be like, oh shit, this motherfucker ain't stopping. Like that's how I fight. I'm gonna constantly be pressuring you, constantly be putting you in the fire, constantly put you in danger. And you don't know if I'm gonna wrestle, strike. Like I'm just gonna basically overwhelm him and utilize my cardio and my technique to fucking just beat his ass, bro, to be honest.
Well, you both fought Gegard. What was your impression of his fight against Gegard, and like what did you take away from that, and how was that in comparison to the way you fought Gegard? What did you see that was different, and what did you take away from his performance?
I steamrolled Gegard. There was not a moment in that fight where I looked like I was in trouble. There was a couple moments in his fight where he was like, "Oh shit's turning." I could tell he wanted to be technical and like kind of like a point kickboxing match for a little while, and like didn't really want to stay in range for very long. And it makes sense. Like I could tell Gegard's dangerous regardless of like how old he is, and even though like I kind of changed his career, like he didn't look the same after fighting me. But he didn't steamroll him like I did. Like that's the difference. And maybe it's a stylistic matchup, but I just think it's a stylistic matchup in like the will. Like I'm willing to fucking die in there. I'm willing to fucking try to kill you. Like you signed up. You think you can beat me? I think I can beat you. Like I'm willing to die in that cage. I don't think he's really willing to die in that cage.
When you take a look at the landscape of middleweights throughout all promotions, you sparred with, you work out with Strickland. He just won the title. You look at Adesanya. You look at guys over in the PFL. Is there anything in any of them that you look at and go, this is a guy that I would love to fight?
I want to fight all of them.
All of them. All right. That's good.
All of them. Yeah. Like honestly, Duplessis or whatever, dude, I want to fight that guy. I want to fight Robert Whitaker. I want to fight Izzy. I want to fight Sean eventually, maybe. Hopefully we don't have to, but I mean, I fucking fight him for free. So I might as well fight him for fucking money at this point.
You're not getting anything when you go there.
I'm sure me and him would fucking be like, yeah, bro, we'll fight each other, whatever. We'll just make a bunch of money. Like it's funny. Like literally when we spar, we're fighting each other. So it's no different. But yeah, man, I want to fight everybody in the world. I want to prove them the best. And when I'm done with, a specific weight division, I'll probably go up and try to fight everybody there too. I just really want to test myself and see how good I am and put my skill sets up to the test.
When do you leave and when do you get there?
I leave Friday night and I get there Saturday. Me, Sabah, my girl, and then coaches are kind of filling in like a couple days later. and then some are coming in fight week.
Speaking of, who are the ones in your corner?
Gonna have Mike Brown, Thiago Alves, and DP. He's gonna be there again, and then my boy JP Reese. He actually fought for Bellator one time. He's retired now, but he's a good friend of mine. We used to coach a wrestling team together. And then when I first moved down here, like he was like one of my first friends. But he used to fight for ATT and he's been around. But yeah, King Mo's not gonna be able to make it out this time. So yeah, that's gonna be my corner.
King Mo, man. He's one of my all-time favorites, man. We've been friends for a long time. He's a great person, man. Love him.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
Love him to death.
Love him, man. He's been great this camp. He's always awesome. He's always texting me, helping
He's
me
a
out.
fight nerd.
Yeah.
People don't realize he is a fight nerd.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
really is. Like not even just MMA, like everything. Like
Oh yeah,
kickboxing, karate, boxing, all of that.
dude. If it's combat between two people, he's watching it. He's trying to figure it out. He's trying to figure out what's the best way to do it. I love talking fights with him. He's hysterical, man. He's a great guy.
Yeah, you could, endless fight talk with that guy.
What makes
no doubt
what
about
makes
it.
your gym, the American Top Team? It seems like they went through phases. The early days, it was kind of they were big and there was a lot of money going into it, and then the fighters just started developing themselves. I mean, not themselves, the coaches and the fighters helped develop them all. But it really, we've seen other big gyms fall apart. What was it, Black Zillions first? What was before Black Zillions? Or was it Black Zillions?
No, that was
No. So Black Zillions, it was like it was ATT guys that left, and then they found another investor, and they created Black Zillions.
It was Black Zillions, then it went Hard Knocks, right? 360, and then now it's pretty much
Hard
Kill
Knocks
Cliff,
360.
which is what it is now.
Well, then it went Sanford,
That's
and now
right,
it's Kill
Sanford,
Cliff.
yeah. So, I mean, they kind of, but the coach over there, Henry Hooft, he's a fantastic person, a great coach.
Oh, great guy. Great guy.
Absolutely fantastic. But what makes American Top Team so special? Mike Brown, you've got the coaches there, Conan, you've got all these other coaches that have been there from the beginning pretty much. What makes it so special, though, that they were able to keep their fighters there and keep them all, it seems to be happy. I don't know about any of the backroom drama, but there's always some. But
There's always a little bit somewhere.
Nothing that I know of personally. Yeah. And
it's all went away
Honestly,
since Kobe left. It all went away.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Jesus. No, he was that was probably the biggest. That and Amanda Nunes, that was a little bit odd how she left. But I mean, I'm a big fan of hers too. I'm always looking like whenever she was fighting, I was always rooting for her. But she's retired now, so
Yeah,
good for her.
but what makes your gym so special?
Honestly, man, it's like the camaraderie. We all really get behind each other. There's no real big cliques in the gym. Like we do have cliques in the gym, obviously, because it's like a language thing. We got some Russians, we got some Brazilians, Americans, and we all kind of mesh in with each other at times. And we're kind of just like a big family, man. We're always like rooting for each other. It's a giant gym, and we always have new people popping in that help out. And you get the guys that live here, like me. There's a bunch of guys that live here that are always training year round. But honestly, like the big thing is like Dan Lambert, man. Like without that guy, staying consistent, he's like the dad of that gym. If that makes any sense. He keeps it together. It's always there. It's not, moving around and like, oh, we got to go here. We lost this, we lost that. It's like, no, he keeps it consistent. And I have a workplace that I can go to and I know like it's not going to go anywhere anytime soon. And also like what he charges is like crazy. Like no one else would, you'd have to be, you're not trying to make money off fighters. He's not trying to make money off fighters. He's really trying to like help and promote fighting. So it's like, it's crazy. Like, so without Dan, like ATT would not be what it's like.
Well, there's no doubt about that. He's the godfather there. And he has, he's put up with a lot. A lot of people have no idea how much has got, happened there and what he's gone through, but he's always been consistent. And there's one thing about Dan, he just first off, he loves jiu-jitsu and he loves MMA.
And he loves pro wrestling.
Oh God, I know that's
and
the way.
fantasy football, bro. Half the time I go to the gym, he's talking fantasy football. I'm in the fantasy football league. Got a keeper league and a fucking another league. It's just so funny, man.
He's got the greatest belt collection of anybody I know, though.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
crazy. Yeah.
He kind of favors Horiguchi though, from what I heard. I heard Horiguchi is like one of his all-time favorite fighters.
He loves Horiguchi.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
That's hilarious because you would think
George is up there too. George is up
Masvidal.
there. I mean, he got a fucking mural painted of him at the fucking gym of flying knee Ben Askren.
Oh,
Like,
jeez.
damn, bro. I've been trying to get him to put up a suplex photo of me. And I'm like, bro, Dan, I'm gonna keep suplexing people until you put me on the fucking wall, suplexing somebody.
All right.
Right now, I only got one photo. It's because I won a belt.
All right, look, I'm gonna go back to Fabian Edwards real quick, and then I'm gonna have one last follow-up question because I know I want to get you in bed so you can get some sleep tonight. But what makes
man.
Fabian Edwards so dangerous? And without you giving me too much, I mean, how do you think you can capitalize on that?
What makes him dangerous is he's fast and athletic. He hits hard. Looks like he hits hard. You know what I mean? And he mixes things well together. You know, he'll set traps. So my whole thing is to shut that down and stay aware of that and not allow him to set the traps on me. And you know, that's basically it, man. Like outside of that, like I beat him everywhere. If I don't fight his type of fight and I don't fight a specific way that enables him to take advantage of me, I'm gonna beat him. There's no way I lose. It's the only way I lose is if I beat myself in there.
John, you got anything else?
The only thing I have to say is, first off, you have been an absolute joy to watch grow as a fighter. You have become so good, so proficient, and so fun because every fight that you are in, you go out there and I mean, you fight. And that's what I love about watching you. I just want to tell you thank you for your time. Johnny Eblen, the pressure now, excuse me.
Just Johnny, it's Johnny Pressure.
Johnny Pressure
Johnny
Eblen,
Pressure.
there we go.
Yeah.
Look forward to watching you against Fabian Edwards on the 23rd from Dublin, Ireland. It's going to be an incredible crowd, and I think you're going to put that place on fire. Good luck to you.
Wait. I can't let you go
Appreciate it,
off
John.
that. I got one more question, but it has to do with has to do with your teammate, Yaroslav Amosov. You train with him a lot. You know him. You talk very highly. How damn good is he? Tell me,
Bro.
How good is he?
Bro, he's so good. like everybody was like, we were doing rounds I think before his last fight before my last fight and his last fight, and we were sparring, and I think Richie or Dan like tweeted out like, we just watched Johnny Eblen and Amosov spar, and it was literally the greatest sparring rounds that the gym has ever seen. And it's just like, I remember watching them back and I'm like, bro, this is crazy. Like some of the shit that we were hitting, some of the things that were like, the way we were moving, and like, it's just like, I've never seen a fight like that. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's a whole different level, man. That dude is so good. He pushes me in so many good ways. And I mean, he's like a brother to me. And I'm just super thankful that, you know, I crossed paths with him and was able to work with him and help him. And he was able to help me. And man, it's truly a blessing, to be honest.
How do you think he matches well with the top lightweight or the top welterweights in the world?
Bro, he beats them all.
He beats them all?
No fucking question. Beats them all. He's the best welterweight in the world. Hands down. Best welterweight in the world. No fucking doubt in my mind, bro.
Right. I just wanted to hear it come out of your mouth because everyone, we have people on, and I know like Mike Brown's talked to me about it. He's like, man, he's hands down the best welterweight we've ever had in the gym. He's so damn good, and he's the best welterweight right now in the world. He's like, there's no doubt. He's like, when he has time to train, he takes it. He's been taking it very serious, obviously, given all the circumstances. But he's like, I don't think he can be beat. I mean, obviously it's a fight, and it can happen. He's like, but that's it, man. That's it. He's the best.
Yeah, the odds are definitely in Amosov's favor. You know, when it comes to getting in a fist fight with every other welterweight in the world, I think literally he's just the best, man.
No. All right, man. Well, hey, I want to thank you so much for coming on, and I'm just going to regurgitate what John said, man. Good luck next week in Dublin, Ireland, and make sure everyone, if you guys are listening, tune in to The Pressure, Johnny Eblen.
Well, that was a great talk with Johnny Eblen, and you got a lot of insight on what it's like to be in there with Sean Strickland. And, you know, this is the whole thing we've talked about for so long, Josh, is look, all these guys, There's just little differences, and styles make fights that can change everything. We saw that a guy in Izzy that we knew is just incredible in stand-up, someone with basics, was able to make him look bad that night, and it wasn't because Izzy was off. It was because Sean Strickland made him off, and Johnny talked about how he can make anybody look that way.
Yeah, we talked about it on the top of the show, and it's frustrating to not give the fighters the credit that they're due. And I've caught myself doing that. That's why I bring this up. I wanted to make sure that Sean got the credit, because a lot of us, even myself, I was counting him out. I mean, I went out there and put money down on Izzy thinking that he was going to get the win. I was like, I could see Izzy potentially getting the finish probably between round 1 and 3. Sean being a little maybe over aggressive and so on. And I thought it would go that way. And I was texting you back and forth. And you're like, I'm not sure I like those bets, but I understand what you're thinking, what my thinking was. You understood. But Johnny, I feel like, because he's been in there so much with him, he's not just been one camp, it's been there several times, trained with him and Eric and Coach Eric Nixick, and just getting the understanding of what he does. Sean Strickland makes it difficult. He stays right outside of that range and he makes you pay for it. He doesn't really have to worry about too much movement and wasted energy and wasted movement, which tends to deplete your cardio. He stays tight with his defense. I mean, it's very difficult. And it was great to hear from Johnny saying, look, man, I spar with him the first couple times and it was difficult. It was difficult to hit him because every time I threw the things that I thought would normally land, I was in the right position. He just rolled the shoulder and it just glanced off the shoulder, hit him in the back or hit the glove, whatever it was. And Sean Strickland's style is not utilized.
It's not flashy.
Yeah, it's not flashy, but it's not utilized in the sport of MMA. Everyone's like, "Oh, you stand like that, I'm going to take you down." But like he said, go ahead.
Think about it, Josh. How many times? Take a look at Sean Strickland. First off, where are his hands? Well, he's got one up and one kind of down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about blading the body. He doesn't blade his body. He mostly stands square. When you're standing square, you're more of a target. But all these things that he does that you look at and you go, don't do that, don't do that, don't do this. It works for him.
Yeah.
He can do it.
Yeah, when guys are familiar with their style and what they think works best for them. The key point, though, that I was trying to make was that even when he does get taken down, he knows that his wrestling is not the best, is that he doesn't settle. He doesn't just lay down there and go, okay, look, I'm in guard now. I'm just going to just wait for the round to get over. I'm going to keep looking at the ref going, stand me up, stand me up. No. He tries to make sure that he's making you work the whole time. So when I do get back to my feet, the pressure that I put on you doesn't take a lot of energy from me, but it's going to take a lot from you because you're on your back foot, running, switching stances, changing direction. I'm going to walk you down, snap my jab, and when you finally stop for a split second with your back square against the fence, I'm going to hit you with the right hand. And that's exactly what he did against Izzy. Caught him clean, sat him to his face, his ass and face, and then hit him with the bop, bop, bop with a bunch of hooks. Couldn't get him out of there. But that set the tempo for the rest of the fight.
Yeah,
great job. Dave, you got any news for us, buddy?
Let me roll over.
I sent you a couple of things, I think, today.
You sent me one to wrap the show up on.
Okay.
But not. Any comments on the finalization of the Dana White WWE? Dana White gets CEO of UFC, new title, but they also finalized a merger as well with Endeavor.
Wasn't he always Dana White? Wasn't he always the CEO? What was he?
He was the president.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I know. It was like, ooh. Now, what change in his role is there going to be? None.
I have a question though. Does Vince McMahon still owns 51%? You know that, Dave? Because I noticed that it said that they own 49% of WWE when they were releasing that.
Don't know if that's I don't know if that's true. I think there's
I don't think that's true.
I saw it. That's what it said. It said that they own the majority of the UFC, which is obviously over 50%, and then they own 49%, I believe, of the WWE.
They would not be in control of.
Yeah,
After the
that
sale to
shocks
Endeavor,
me.
Vince McMahon owns 19%.
No, I know, but I think there was other investors that maybe came in. I don't know. I'll have to read up more. I don't want to speak out of turn, but I believe I read though they're only 49% owners. Now I don't know if there was another group that bought like 23%, and then Vince McMahon owns, 21%, and then Vince owns the other 19% or whatever. I don't know, something along those lines. But I'll have to look into it more before I go speaking too much.
Dave, take a look to see if it says that Endeavor is the majority owner
They would be the majority owner at 49%.
Of who?
If there's
of
three,
the WWE. No.
how would they not
They'd have
be if
them-
there was
they-
if there was two other people involved? That's what I'm
Endeavor is an
Because those-
independent company.
Those two people would be able to be, if they put themselves together, can outdo
Yeah,
what
that is
Endeavor
true.
does. And I don't think Endeavor would put themselves in that position.
That's true. That's true. Right there. What's that's the stock market thing. They went public today, this morning. I saw DC in the back there with Triple H and who else? Vince
Endeavor owns
McMahon.
51%.
Ah, look at that,
51%.
51%. I knew it. There's no way.
Oh, so 49% is owned of the shareholders. Got it.
Yes.
Got it.
Right, 'cause you're never going to allow yourself to have less
It
than
makes
that
sense what you're
51%.
saying, but I thought I read somewhere that they had only owned the 49%, and I thought there was like two other. I don't know, anyways. All right. Oh, what else you got for us there?
That's giving up control. Ain't going to happen.
Yep.
No, jeez. This was, I wanted to
up
end
on
the
this
show
one.
on this. John, can you tell me what the hell is going on? That is Quentin Jackson and Bob Sapp in the same.
It's called Fight Circus. The best is, take a look at the poor guy who's got a left hand going against Quentin Jackson's right hand. Quentin Jackson is just hitting him with hooks and uppercuts.
There was a scene right here.
Look at this. Uppercut, hook.
But oh no, go back a little bit. Can you rewind it a little bit? There's
No,
a
not on the
scene.
reel.
There's a scene right after that first combination when they started to break. Keep your eyes on Bob Sapp's left hand. He actually hits Quentin right in the face. It's so great when it started.
Well,
when
Tyson Fury hit himself in a fight.
when this
so-
thing starts over, it's so good, man. I love it. And then this poor guy got just destroyed by Quentin Jackson.
I'm done.
Right here. Watch Bob Sapp's left hand. Watch it. Bink. He hits Quentin right there
right
in the
there,
face. Oh, jeez. I don't know what this is. It's called Fight Circus. It's hilarious, though.
It's a
This
circus.
is great. You know what, though? It's good to see the Quintins out there having fun. Same thing with
Yep.
Bob Sapp, still doing this thing. I can't believe he's still doing it, John. Can't believe he's still doing it, this guy. Jeez, what an animal. All right, guys. Well, hey, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this show and enjoyed our interview with Johnny Eblen. Look, everyone thinks I tend to be a little bit biased. I still think right now in this stage of the middleweight division, I think he's the best middleweight in the world, and we're going to find out next week if he can kind of prove it and go out there and do what he's been doing. He's been beating everybody. He's undefeated at 13-0 and looking to make it 14-0. He's got a dangerous opponent in front of him in Fabian Edwards, fast, explosive, the brother of Leon Edwards. We've talked about this. When titles come into your gym, it brings that confidence of the fighters in the gym up. And Leon has that title, and he's had impressive defenses of it. And look for Fabian to start to follow track. And I think that he's going to really try to get Johnny Eblen out of there. So look, tune in next week for Bellator on the 23rd, correct? September 23rd. Sorry, the days are different here and there. So, September 23rd. And it will be on Showtime. And after that, make sure you guys go to WayneInMerch.com, pick up some of our sweaters, our hoodies. It is raining here in Texas. So I'm going to need that hoodie real soon, John, real soon. It's raining here in Texas. Got
Hold
a
on.
little bit of
It's
light.
raining, but it's not cold.
It's not cold at all, John. It's not cold at all, my man.
That's the same thing here.
Make sure you guys go to onlyfans.com/WayneIn, onlyfans.com/WayneIn. Subscribe to us over there. We've got some interviews dropping this week. Don't miss them. We got some interviews dropping this week. Don't miss them. Hit that bell in our notifications there. Make sure you get the notification from us, and you guys can listen to those interviews that are going to be dropping this week. John, take us away, buddy.
For everyone out there, thank you for listening to Johnny Eblen. Thanks for spending the time with us, brother. We appreciate it, and we will see you.